Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Justice for Education, and we are here today with Caleb that has accepted a new interview. Caleb will speak about his experience with Tina Bell Foundation, which is located in Nigeria. And I will leave the space for you, Caleb, so you can present yourself and speak about a bit about your experience, how you decided to start working, helping in Tina Ben Foundation, which were your motivations?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Caleb. I am a designer, graphic designer. I do a bit of content strategy. And yeah, I am a student, a Nigerian student studying information science in my second year. I worked with Tineben about 2 years ago, last year, something, for some school outreach somewhere at, for those of you that know, for my Nigerian audience, the larger area of Lagos, right? So I think for me, my major motivations for doing that has always been my drive to be a part of something big, something innovative. I always want to, I've seen myself as somebody that loves to make change, right? And there's always a need to feel like there's always a gap to fill in, especially if you live in a community like Nigeria. There are lots of gaps to fill, right? So I I would rather be that person that if I can't feel, obviously I can't feel all the gaps, right? But I would rather fill one gap
Yeah.
than just sit and not feel any gap at all. And one of the major gaps that was at my what's the word now disposal was the one of like young people, right? So I'm like, okay, why not hop on this? Because at the end of the day, right, young people are people like to describe them as the next generation, which is like the truth, right? So it takes a lot of things to become the leaders of tomorrow, as people would describe them. It takes more. It's more than just saying, more than just growing up in slums, more than just doing all of that. It takes more mindset shift, right? Right. So I took that as my major motivation. I would love to see young people, irrespective of their backgrounds, irrespective of where they come from, become better persons. Maybe not on the top of the global scale, but become better persons, because that's not like the case for like everyone on this side. But yeah, that's basically it in a few sentences.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So,
Yeah.
what was the thing that impacted you the most about your experience at Dinaman Foundation?
Hmm. I would say the people themselves, the people that I got to interact with, right? So I think like getting to see maybe not every obviously it was a short time. So obviously you would not get to see like a lot of changes, right? But
Yeah.
getting to see that willingness from their end for me to want to there was this willingness to want to what's the word now? To want to learn. And for me, it gave me some sort of feeling that there's still like hope for like us, for like a lot of young people, right? If they understand that this is not it, this is not the life that I want to live, and they're ready to like accept it and accept imbibe whatever I'm bringing. They don't even know me like that, but like they saw something different from that their usual like thing, and they were ready to accept that. It gave me some sort of hope and open mindedness on my end, but for mainly hope, right? That young people, the fact that young people still, there's still a couple of young people out there that are ready to change their lives. There's still a couple of young people out there that are ready to be better, to become better people. At the end of the day, it just gave me some reaffirmation that our works are not they're not wasted. Our efforts are not in vain, right? So yeah, that for me that was the major impact I had from my sessions. Yeah, pretty much. Top of my
You
head.
have an optimist mind. This is the key for acting in this world.
Yeah, I would agree so.
So, which are the mainly activities of the foundation and what did you do in the foundation?
Oh, so Tina Ben has like a lot of. from my experience, we had like a lot of things that we did. But they have like Clothe a Child. Clothe a Child, I'm just going to run over them. They have a couple of initiatives. There's Clothe a Child. Clothe a Child is I think it's an annual like fundraising for children to like provide clothing. There's like I can't remember something about like providing books to schools where it's also a program where they run for a couple of months. They provide like textbooks for students that kind of so they run all of these things. But for this school project, I think their major focus was providing education for students that wasn't like so everybody in Nigeria knows that the alternative to going to like private schools is government schools. I think in some other countries too, right? Because this is free, tuition free. But the quality of the education is not all that, and everybody can attest to this, right? So I think for Tinaben, the goal was to provide at least a decent quality of education, but having students not pay so much or not pay at all to acquire it, right? So that was the goal. So Tinaben was found a school that was already doing something. I think they were affiliated with the church or something, right? So they did that and they provide the funds for teachers, funds for the facilities for the school, education, books, textbooks that the student will need. So for me, um, for this program, that this was the one that I've been a part of other Tinaben events, right? But for the discussion, I would highlight a couple of things that I did with the school outreach. So for that, I mainly got to speak rather. My bad. I mainly got to speak at some of the events that I was around some of the sessions. Right, I had sessions with somewhere. I think once a month. I would come in with my other facilitators because I worked with a team. Right, we had like a team who come in with a leadership material. We would, I think it was, I can't remember, Lead Today with John C. Maxwell. I don't know if you know about it. It's on leadership guide. We took them through the modules of the guide, right? So for us, that was the roles that I played. I took sessions of a couple of students, a couple of classes rather, and on monthly basis. So yeah, for that was the major roles I played in that. I don't know if I left anything out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the economic condition of the children that this foundation helps?
Before we met them or presently?
Both.
Okay. Okay. So I think for us, right, the goal is to like I said earlier when I started, like we find gaps and we fill these gaps, right? So for us to choose to provide like tuition free education, it meant like there was a need for that, right? So we found people that could not necessarily attend both like the government school or the private school, whatever, for some reason, probably because of tuition, they didn't have so much. That's what I'm trying to say. They didn't. There's like the low class. They were like below the low class, right? Like it was bad for a couple of them persons. Like if you know about the larger area in Lagos, you would probably get an idea of what I'm trying to say. So for for people to come from that area, it meant it was like bad, like really bad. So we could not see that happen. And there's barely like nothing happens there really. Like it's a place, it's just a busy place that has like slums and everything. Nothing really happens there. So for us, I think that for the economic thing, I think just describing this gives you an idea sort of what it was. And I wouldn't say much has changed, like in terms of the economic status since we left and met them, because um, we do not necessarily provide monetary benefits for a couple of these young persons in that sense. So, but yeah, but in terms of like their personal development, I would attest it that we can see changes, can track changes of young people's lives from when we started and where we are with them right now. But in terms of the economic status, I would, yes, it probably is still the way it is when we met them. Probably, probably. Yeah, but yeah, I would not be in the best position to describe that. I'm not sure
Okay,
what.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to ask you a last message. You
Okay.
gave us a really good message about trying to help and filling the gaps, but which type of message would you like to leave to the next people that will listen this interview?
Hmm. I would say the same thing still, but like in a different way. So you remember how I talked about how I cannot fill all the gaps, right? So I would say, imagine if we had a lot of people, and I know I'm not even doing like a lot of that, right? But imagine if we had like, if everyone in the world or every person was trying to fill a gap. Imagine if everyone was trying to fill a gap, like intentionally trying to fill a gap. I don't think there will be any gaps left, or there would be just left, right? So my message to everyone out there is to try to fill a gap, really. If you find a gap, fill it. A gap that needs filling. There are a lot of them that you can think of. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be very mind blowing or ground shaking. It's the little things that counts at the end of the day, right? The little things that nobody even sees. The just helping someone out with stuff, help going to the school, checking out what they need, providing that, going to this rural area. It doesn't even have to, the news doesn't have to cover it, the media doesn't have to see it, the blog. Just fill a gap every day. Try to fill a gap. And I mean, the world would be a better place if we all try to fill a gap. That's what I just think. So if you're listening to this, try to fill a gap, man. I don't know.
Well, thank you very much. You have a beautiful message with which you have started the interview and you finish it. So let's hope that people like us that believe in change will listen to your message. I'm sure they will listen to your message, and that will be more motivated in helping and filling these gaps that you are talking about.
Thank
Okay, so we finished the interview. Today we have had the opportunity of listening to your experience in Tina Ben Foundation in Nigeria. Thank you very much for your time and your availability, Caleb. And I thank you all the people that have listened to this interview. And I hope to see you in the next interview. So let's see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.